I discovered $550,000 was gone from my account. The wire went straight to my brother's account. At Thanksgiving dinner, Grandpa made Mom turn white. When my grandpa stopped cutting the turkey, placed down the knife with surgical precision and remarked, "The gift I wired you was $500,000. I chuckled because the package my mother had given me an hour before had a check for $250. My name is Ethan Carter. I'm 31 years old and make a career by hunting out data criminals. Sentinel Tech employs a cybersecurity analyst in Denver. I've investigated Bitcoin fraud in 17 countries, assisted the FBI in recovering $4.2 million in ransomware payments, and testified 4 times in federal court. I understand how to track money through the darkest reaches of the internet. The biggest robbery of my career took place at my own family's Thanksgiving table. 3 days before the holiday, my sister Sophia called. I was in my flat, 3 monitors lit up with code, following a phishing operation out of Estonia. Her voice had a certain brilliance that always made me dubious. She employed this tone when she desired something but pretended not to. "Hey Jordy," she said. "Nobody calls me Jordy except her. Listen about Thanksgiving. Maybe you should skip it this year." I interrupted the trace I was running. "Why?" "Grandpa has been terribly fatigued recently. The doctor advised him to avoid becoming overly excited. You know how he reacts when you visit. He wants to stay up chatting, show you his old maps, and tell you stories about Korea." She laughed, but it sounded artificial. "We're thinking of a nice getaway with only the local family. I reside in Denver. My family lives in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Approximately 2,000 miles of extremely handy distance." "Since when did Grandpa want to be quiet?" I asked. "Since he reached 87, his doctor has advised him to minimize stress." That bit could have been correct. Grandpa George Carter, a decorated warrior and retired civil engineer, and the only person in my family who had ever listened to me, had been slowing down but requested that I forego Thanksgiving. That did not correspond. Sophia also mentioned that you should definitely save money on airfare. I understand consulting pays well, but those flights from Denver are not inexpensive. There it was. Sophia has never been concerned about my finances in 33 years. In 2019, she borrowed $3,500 from me to fund a business opportunity that proved out to be a multi-level marketing fraud. Never repaid me. When I asked about it 6 months later, Mom said I was being petty about money among siblings. "I'll think about it," I said. "Great. Love you. Bye." She hung up before I could reply. I sat there for a long time, looking at my screens. Something wasn't right. That chat followed the same pattern as the phishing emails I studied. The words were all correct, but the underlying code was harmful. I opened my banking app and looked into the joint account Grandpa had set up for me when I turned 18. He'd invested $6,000. They told me it was for emergencies. "You're smart with money, Ethan," he'd added. "This is just in case you ever need a cushion." I had used it once in junior year of college, when my laptop died 2 days before exams. I repaid it within 6 months. Since then, I had not touched it. The balance indicated $2,550. That seems about correct. The initial $6,000 minus the laptop loan plus 13 years of low interest, yet something compelled me to view the entire transaction history. My stomach sank. August 14, 2024. Incoming wire transfer of $550,000. With love, Grandpa. August 15, 2024. Outgoing wire transfer, $550,000. Destination: an external account with the number 7392. Remember the investing opportunity? I gazed at the screen. $550,000, gone in 24 hours. The account now displayed $2,747 because someone had left just enough to avoid triggering a zero balance alert, which might have sent me a warning. My hands were shaking. I gingerly laid down my coffee mug, as if it could break. I contacted the bank and was transferred 3 times before reaching someone from fraud prevention. "Mr. Carter, I'm demonstrating that the wire was initiated using proper login credentials and 2-factor authentication. Her name, according to the spokesman, is Patricia." She sounded exhausted. "Do you not recognize the transaction?" "I did not make it. The IP address indicates Bridgeport, Connecticut. Is it an area you frequently visit?" "My family lives there, but I haven't been since July." "I see. And you are positive you did not allow someone to use this account on your behalf?" "Absolutely certain." She paused. I could hear typing. "Mr. Carter, we also have a document on file. You signed a power of attorney document on August 10th, allowing authority for additional typing. Linda Carter." Could it be your mother? The room slanted. I never executed a power of attorney. The signature matches our records. The signature is then falsified. More typing. This time, the duration is longer. I've marked this account for investigation. You will need to submit a formal fraud report. I'm giving you a link now. I'll also want you to authenticate your identity by answering a few security questions. The verification took 20 minutes. By the time I hung up, my coffee was cold, and the Estonian phishing operation I'd been following had vanished, most likely due to a change in server farms. I opened the power of attorney form that the bank had emailed me. It was a PDF with decent quality and all the appropriate legal text. The signature at the bottom resembled mine. I recognized the looping G and the strong vertical line on the J, but I knew I hadn't signed it. I have a very unique practice when it comes to signing legal paperwork. I always make a little diagonal mark in the upper right corner of the signature block. It's invisible unless you seek for it. A paranoid tendency I got after witnessing too many contract conflicts in the IT industry. This signature included no mark. I zoomed in. The ink pressure was incorrect, too consistent. This was a computer composite, most likely generated by scanning and sewing numerous signatures together. Professional work, but not quite professional enough. I looked for the destination account number from the wire transfer. External account number 7392. Most banks only display partial account numbers for security reasons, but I had tools for that. After 15 minutes of database queries and some clever use of financial APIs, I had the whole account. On August 2, 2024, Nathan Cole established an account at First National Bank's Bridgeport office. I searched for the name LinkedIn profile investment consultant, 35 years old, Columbia MBA, founder of Cole Capital Management, professional headshot of a man with perfect teeth and a suit that cost more than most people's monthly rent, and there in his recent activity, excited to announce my engagement to the incredible Sophia Carter. Here is to new beginnings. The post was dated August 20th, 6 days after my money vanished. I navigated to Sophia's Instagram. It was public. She had never understood privacy settings. The feed was a chronicle of devastation masquerading as leisure content. August 16th, a snapshot of crystal blue sea, white beach, palm trees, and a much-needed reset in the Maldives graced our paradise. August 18th, sunset over an infinity pool. I am grateful for this moment. August 20th. A close-up of her left hand. A big diamond captures the light. He asked, and I answered. Yes. We've been blissfully engaged ever since. I focused close on the ring. Emerald cut. Must be at least 3 carats. Platinum band. The conservative estimate is $35,000. My $35,000. I took screenshots of everything, created a folder, and began charting the money path with the same systematic accuracy that I used in corporate investigations. On August 14th, Grandpa sends $550,000 into the joint account. On August 15th, money was deposited to Nathan Cole's account. On August 16th, Sophia posts from the Maldives. Flight records. I have access to specific databases at work just for valid security reasons. Showed 2 first-class tickets from JFK to the Maldives. Purchased on August 14th. Travelers Sophia Carter and Nathan Cole. Cost $20,000. August 20th. Engagement announcement. Ring purchased from Cartier Manhattan. Credit card data are surprisingly easy to locate if you know where to go and have the necessary credentials. This might be considered a legal gray area. I didn't care. The trend was evident. Sophia had somehow persuaded Grandpa to transfer me money. Probably told him I needed it for something, knowing he'd never say no, then promptly transferred it to her fiancé's account and spent it on a fancy vacation and engagement ring. However, the power of attorney signature disturbed me. That was not Sophia's style. She was impetuous and careless with money, but she lacked the sophistication required to fake legal documents. I opened the paper again and examined the signature more closely. The digital composite was good, but there was something more. Tiny variances in pen pressure and minuscule changes in ink density indicated that this was performed. Someone traced my signature several times before generating the final version. I matched it to Mom's handwriting. She had mailed me a birthday card last year. I kept it because she remembered, which was unusual enough to be significant. The capital letters mirrored the G's downstroke, which curled slightly inward. The particular angle of the cross at the T. My mother falsified my signature. I sat back in my chair. Outside my window, Denver sprawled in the November afternoon light. Traffic is flowing on I-25. People going about their lives without realizing that mine had just exploded. My phone vibrated. Sophia sent a text. "So you're absolutely not coming on Thursday, right? I just want to make sure Mom doesn't buy too much food." I gazed at the message for a whole minute. Then I typed, "Actually, I changed my mind. I'll be there." Her response was quick. "Really? Are you certain? I thought you mentioned work is crazy right now." I'd never stated that. "Work can wait." I typed, "Family is essential." 3 dots emerged, vanished and reappeared. "Okay, perfect. See you on Thursday." I booked a trip, packed my laptop, a portable projector I use for professional presentations, and printed all of the evidence I had gathered. Bank documents, wire transfer data, a falsified power of attorney, screenshots from Sophia's Instagram, credit card receipts, and airline information totaled 47 pages. I put them in a leather portfolio that Grandpa had given me after I graduated from college. The irony was not lost on me. On Wednesday, I arrived at JFK, hired a vehicle, and drove to Bridgeport in the freezing rain that makes November in Connecticut feel like the end of the world. I checked into a Hampton Inn 15 minutes from my folks' house and spent the evening putting together a presentation. Title slide, Family Investment Opportunity, Case Study, and Wire Fraud. Subtitle, How $550,000 Became $250. I practiced timing. The complete disclosure takes 12 minutes, with strategically placed pauses to maximize effect. I'd delivered presentations in boardrooms, testified in court, and explained complicated cybercrimes to jurors. This should have been easy. It was not. These were the individuals I grew up with. My sister had taught me to ride a bike. My mother had driven me to the robotics club every Saturday for 3 years. My father, who had never been very involved, was still family. But they had stolen from me. Not only the money. They had taken my grandfather's talent, trust, and willingness to assist me. And they had done it so casually and simply. Thursday morning at 2 p.m., I traveled to my parents' place. Dinner was at 4 p.m. Mom texted the schedule. Appetizers at 4, turkey at 5, and dessert at 6:30. Everything is well organized and under control. I parked on the street and carried my laptop bag up the front walkway. The home looked the same as it always did. Cream-colored colonial, black shutters, and the maple tree in the front yard that I had climbed as a child. Normal and innocent. Mom opened the door before I could knock. "Ethan, you made it." She drew me into a well-practiced hug. "I am so delighted you chose to come after all. I wouldn't miss it." She was wearing a lovely cashmere sweater with pearl buttons. Her hair was styled professionally. Her grin seemed fragile. "Sophia's in the kitchen. Nathan is also here. I understand you haven't met him yet. He is fantastic. You're going to adore him." I followed her within. The home smelled like turkey, stuffing, and pie. Grandpa was in his normal recliner by the fireplace, reading the newspaper with reading glasses perched on his nose. He looked up as I stepped in. Ethan's entire face glowed. "There's my boy." I crossed the room and cautiously hugged him. He felt more fragile than the last time. Bones were more visible under his cardigan, yet his grasp remained firm. "How's Denver treating you?" he inquired. "Good. Really good. Working on some interesting cases. Still catching the bad guys." "Always," he said, smiling. "That's my grandson. Justice comes first." The words hurt more than they should have. Sophia emerged from the kitchen, with Nathan behind her like an expensive ornament. She has lost weight since I last saw her. The type of weight loss that results from stress, green juice, and not eating. The engagement ring caught the light, creating little rainbows on the wall. Jordy held me too, and I could feel her stiffen slightly when I didn't pull away quickly. "This is Nathan. Nathan, my younger brother Ethan." Nathan extended his hand. "It's great to finally meet you. Sophia talks about you all the time." His handshake was strong and well practiced for an investment consultant. Everything about him had been rehearsed. He smiled, made eye contact, and stood with his shoulders back and chest open. Alpha stance. "Congratulations on the engagement," I responded. "Thanks, man. She's 1 in a million." He drew Sophia in and kissed the top of her head. She shined. Actually glowed. Either she was a greater actor than I'd given her credit for, or she had compartmentalized the robbery so thoroughly that she convinced herself it had not occurred. Dad was in the den, watching football on mute. He glanced up and nodded as I stepped in. Ethan, nice to see you. You too, Dad. We didn't have much else to say to each other. We never had. Mom introduced appetizers. We convened in the dining room. The table was laid with fine china, candles lighted, and everything was picture perfect. Grandpa sat at the head of the table, Mom and Dad on each side, and Sophia and Nathan across from me. The talk seemed aggressively normal. Nathan discussed a recent golf vacation to Scotland. Sophia discussed her new employment at a marketing business. Mom talked about her book club's recent pick. Dad remained silent, drinking wine quicker than was appropriate. I waited. Finally, Mom got up. I almost forgot. Ethan, Grandpa wanted me to give you something. She went into the kitchen and returned with an envelope, white and business-sized, with my name scribbled on the front in her handwriting. From Grandpa, she whispered gently, placing it in my palm. Don't mention the amount. He's a bit embarrassed that things are tight this year. I opened the envelope. The inside contained a check. Pay to the order of Ethan Carter. $250 written in my mother's handwriting and signed with Grandpa's weak signature. The room waited for my response. I looked at Grandpa. He was looking at me with the warm, pleased face I'd known all my life. Thank you, I said. This is very generous. Mom's shoulders relaxed. Sophia had a drink of wine. Nathan checked his phone. We went to the living room for supper. Turkey on a plate, sides and serving plates. Everything was staged like a Norman Rockwell painting. Grandpa sliced while Mom supervised traffic, ensuring that everyone received the appropriate quantities. Sophia began telling a story about her Fiji health getaway from last month. The sunrise meditation sessions were absolutely transformative. I feel like I'm finally learning to be present, to really appreciate the moment. Nathan was nodding his head. She came back a completely different person, more centered, more herself. I wondered whether he was aware that the retreat had cost me $20,000. Probably. He appeared to be the type of man who scrutinized receipts. Mom caught my attention. Ethan, you should try something like that. All that computer work. You need to learn to enjoy life. Disconnect sometimes. I enjoy life just fine, I said. Do you? You're always working. Always so serious. Life isn't just about chasing criminals in cyberspace. The hypocrisy was staggering. Dad poured himself some more wine. Fourth glass. Grandpa rose up and tapped his water glass with a fork. I'd like to make a toast. The table became silent. I'm an old man, he explained. I've lived 87 years, fought in a war, built bridges that are still standing, raised a family. But one of my greatest joys has been watching my grandchildren grow into the people they're meant to be. He first glanced at me, then Sophia. Sophia, you've always known what you wanted and gone after it. That determination will serve you well in marriage and in life. She cracked a grin. And Ethan. His voice became heavier with emotion. You've always been my quiet one, thoughtful, principled. You don't take shortcuts. You do things right, even when it's hard. That's rare these days. My throat tightened as he continued. I wanted to help you take the next step. Buy a house. Start your own firm if that's what you want. You've earned it, and I hope the gift I gave you will make that dream a little easier to reach. He lifted his glass to Ethan. May you build something lasting. Everybody lifted their glasses. I reared mine. Thank you, Grandpa, I said simply. Thank you so much for the $250. His smile wavered. The table remained stationary. What's $250? He inquired. I withdrew the check from my pocket and held it up. This check? The one Mom gave me before dinner from you. $250. Grandpa's expression shifted. Confusion turned to something deeper. Linda, what's he talking about? Mom's fork clattered on her plate. Dad, you're confused. You said things were tight. The gift I wired Ethan was $550,000. Silence. Absolute quiet. Nathan's wine glass had halted halfway to his mouth. Sophia had turned absolutely white. Dad was looking at his plate, as if it had answers. Mom's face had crushed into desperation. Dad, you're not remembering correctly, Mom said again, her voice raised. Your medication. The doctor said it can cause confusion. I'm not confused. Grandpa's voice rang through the room like a dagger. I transferred $550,000 into Ethan's account on August 14th. I received the confirmation email. I've saved it. He took out his phone with trembling hands and began scrolling. Mom stood up. Dad, please. Let's talk about this privately. You're getting upset. Grandpa ignored her and continued. Show me the account, Ethan. Pull it up right now. I had already taken my laptop out of my backpack. I opened it. In the candlelit room, the screen shone blue. I opened the bank statement and tilted the laptop so Grandpa could see. On August 14th, $550,000 was received by incoming wire. On August 15th, an outbound wire of $550,000 was sent. Current balance, $2,747. Grandpa just stared. His hand moved to his chest. For a brief time, I assumed he was suffering a heart attack. Where did it go? He muttered. I looked at Sophia. She was weeping now, silent tears flowing down her cheeks, mascara streaking. Nathan had his hand on her shoulder, but he appeared ready to flee. That's what I'd like to know too, Grandpa, I murmured gently. Mom remained standing, fists clenched at her sides. This is a family matter. We can discuss it later privately. No. I opened a folder on my desktop. We're discussing it right now. I took out the portable projector, laid it on the table, moved away the mashed potatoes and stuffing to make room, and plugged it into my laptop. With my first slide, the white wall behind Grandpa lighted up. Family investment opportunity. A case study on wire fraud. Dad's wine glass slid from his grasp. Red wine splattered on the white tablecloth like blood. People began standing up. Uncle Ryan and Aunt Laura, who had remained silent in the corner, Cousin Chloe and her husband, and Mom's sister Patricia. They backed away gradually, then quickly. We should go, Aunt Laura murmured. This is between immediate family. They simply walked out. The front door opened and closed 3 times. Car engines began. By the time the chaos subsided, just 6 of us remained. Grandpa, Mom, Dad, Sophia, Nathan and I. I moved to the next slide. The bank transfer records were blown up to a size that could be read from across the room. On August 14th, Grandpa begins a wire transfer for $550,000 as a gift to me. On August 15th, someone with access to the joint account sent $550,000 to Nathan Cole's external account. Nathan became stiff. Next slide. Sophia's Instagram postings are dated and time-stamped. On August 16th, my sister posts from the Maldives. 2 first-class tickets from JFK to Maldives were booked. August 14th. Cost $20,000. Sophia made a sound of a wounded animal. Next slide. The engagement ring. Zoomed in. August 20th. Engagement announcement. Ring purchased from Cartier Manhattan. August 19th. Cost $35,000. Nathan stood up. I don't have to sit here and listen to this. Sit down, Grandpa instructed. His voice was soft, yet it held weight. Nathan sat. I moved to the next slide. The fabricated power of attorney, with the signature underlined. This paper, filed with the bank on August 10th, grants Linda Carter power of attorney over the joint account. The signature is forged. Notice the differences in pen pressure here, here, and here. I used a laser pointer. The letter forms are in my mother's handwriting, not mine. Mom was sobbing too, but these were furious tears. You don't understand what we've been through. The medical bills from your father's surgery. Dad's surgery was covered by insurance, I told him. I checked the mortgage. It's current. I retrieved the paperwork. You had no right. I had every right. You stole from me. Next slide, an audio file. This is a voicemail left by Linda Carter on August 28th to John Harris, attorney at law. I obtained it through legal discovery after filing a fraud report. I selected the play button. Mom's voice permeated the entire room. John, we already spent the first installment. If Ethan finds out, he'll go crazy. We need to paper this over. Can you help us create some kind of, I don't know, legitimate explanation? Maybe a loan agreement or something. John Harris's reaction. Linda, this is fraud. I won't be a party to it. You need to tell Ethan the truth before this gets worse. Mom's voice returned. You don't understand. Sophia needed the file closed. Mom's expression was utterly devastated. I was trying to help your sister with my money. You have a good job. You don't need... That's not the point. The words came out more forcefully than I had intended. The point is that Grandpa gave me a gift, a life-changing gift, and you stole it before I even knew it existed. You forged legal documents. You lied to him. You lied to me. And you gave me a $250 check like it was some kind of generous gesture when you'd already taken everything. Sophia was weeping openly now. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I just needed the weddings in 6 months. And Nathan said we needed to make the right impression, and I panicked. So you stole from me. It wasn't like that. What was it like then, Sophia? Explain it to me. She couldn't. Nathan stood again, but this time with purpose. Lose my number, he said, Sophia. All of it. This family, this drama, whatever this is, I don't do this, he said as he left. The front door slammed. Sophia yelled after him. Actually yelled. Then she turned against me. Mascara smeared, and the face was blotchy. You just destroyed my entire life. You destroyed it yourself when you chose to steal. I hate you. She grabbed her coat and pocketbook. I hate you so much. She too fled. Her vehicle erupted to life in the driveway, the tires screaming as she drove away. Dad remained immobile through it all, looking at the wine stain that had spread across the tablecloth. Finally, he rose. I'm going to bed, he said to no one in particular. He walked upstairs. We heard the bedroom door close. 3 of us have now departed. Me, Mom, and Grandpa. Mom was trembling. She collapsed into a chair, hands over her face. I thought it would be okay. I thought you'd never find out. I thought you thought wrong. Grandfather stood up. His hands were firm now, and his face was set in an expression I hadn't seen before. Anger, betrayal, and grief. He took out his phone. Mom grabbed his arm. Dad, please. Please don't do this. Think about the family. Think about Sophia's future. Think about it. I am thinking about it, he added softly. I'm thinking about how I trusted you. How I called you before I made the transfer. Told you I wanted to help Ethan. Asked you to make sure he knew it was from me, that it came with love, and you took that trust and turned it into theft. Dad, he said as he flew away and called 911. Mom sank on her knees, hands clasped in prayer. Please, please don't do this. I'm your daughter. I made a mistake, please. This is George Carter at 847 Maple Drive in Bridgeport, Grandpa was saying by phone. I need to report a theft. Mom began weeping. The type of sobbing that makes your heart ache. Police came 18 minutes later. 2 cops, 1 elder and 1 younger. Officer Martin Chen has been with the force for 23 years, while Officer Rachel Kim has been there for 5 years. I had previously prepared a folder for them. All evidence is ordered chronologically. They sat at the dining table, the turkey cold, the candles burned to stubs, and went over everything slowly. Mr. Carter, Officer Chen asked Grandpa. Do you want to press charges? Yes. Are you certain this is your daughter? I'm certain. He stared at me. And you, Mr. Carter? Ethan, do you want to pursue this? I recalled Sophia's screams, Mom's tears, and Dad's abrupt departure. I reflected about Nathan's callous leaving, the wrecked holidays and shattered family, and the years of Thanksgiving dinners that would never happen again. Then I considered Grandpa's expression as he made the toast. The pride, the love, the fact that he had saved for years to be able to do something important for his grandkids. Yes, I answered. I want to pursue this. Officer Kim took notes. We'll need you both to come to the station tomorrow to file formal reports. We'll also need to coordinate with the bank and possibly the FBI since this involved wire fraud across state lines. Mom looked up, face blotchy and swollen. FBI, wire fraud is a federal crime, ma'am. She appeared to collapse in on herself. The cops left at 11 p.m. Mom had moved to the couch and curled up like a kid. I packed up my projector, laptop and evidence files. Grandpa led me to the door. Are you okay? I questioned him. He grinned sadly. Last night before you arrived, your mother told me she'd given you my check. She said you'd thanked her. Said you were grateful things weren't as tight as you'd feared. Said the $250 would really help with your rent. The manipulation was astounding. And I believed her, he added. Because why wouldn't I? She's my daughter. I raised her. I thought I knew her. I'm sorry, Grandpa. Don't be. You did the right thing. It's her choice to live with. He placed a hand on my shoulder. The same hand that taught me how to tie my shoes, cast a fishing line, shake hands firmly, and look people in the eyes. When you called and thanked me for $250 at dinner, he said gently. I almost let it go. Almost convinced myself I was confused. My memory was faulty. Maybe I hadn't actually sent the full amount because it was easier than believing my own daughter would do this. He took a seat. But then I looked at your face and realized you were giving me the opportunity to see it, to truly see what they had done. You were saving me from spending the rest of my life as their idiot. My throat felt constricted. Last night you thanked me for $250, the man added. Tonight you proved you're worth more than any amount I could ever wire you. I held him tenderly because he was delicate, 87, and the strongest guy I'd ever met. I love you, Grandpa. I love you too, Ethan. Now go home. Get some sleep. I drove back to my hotel through the November rain. I checked my phone at a red light. Sophia left 17 missed calls. Mom left 6. And I ignored 4 voicemails. I blocked their numbers. The next morning, Grandpa and I went to the Bridgeport Police Department to submit formal reports and sign statements. Dylan Torres, an investigator with 11 years of experience in financial crimes, told us that the case will take months to establish, but it is strong. Power of attorney fraud, wire, fraud, and possible conspiracy. The evidence you've compiled is better than most of what we see from professional investigators. I am a professional investigator, I said. Just usually for corporations, not family. How does it feel? He inquired. Going after your own family? I thought about it with justice. The repercussions were swift and widespread. By Monday the tale had leaked to local media, most likely through a police complaint or one of the family who witnessed the Thanksgiving incident. Family Thanksgiving ends in theft charges, reported the Bridgeport Courier. Sophia's firm, a boutique marketing business that emphasized ethical brand creation, fired her on Tuesday. I know because she left me a voicemail yelling about it. I did not listen to the entire thing. My parents' church, St. Matthew's Episcopal, where they had been members for 32 years, requested that they stand down from their volunteer roles on the fundraising committee. The official explanation given was that there was too much unfavorable attention. Nathan Cole updated his LinkedIn status to single and removed all images of Sophia. His firm website erased his bio for a week before reinstating it with no reference of his personal life. The bank investigation discovered that Dr. John Harris, the attorney Mom had contacted, had reported the discussion to the State Bar Ethics Hotline. There was evidence that he attempted to warn her off. That testimony helps to prove intent. In January, federal accusations were brought. Linda Carter faces charges of wire fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, and forgery. Sophia Carter. Accessory after the fact. Conspiracy. The FBI became interested because the wire transfer crossed state boundaries and utilized digital banking networks, which are subject to federal authority. I gave a 4-hour deposition at a federal facility in Hartford, going over every piece of evidence, database query, and screenshot. Emily Wilson, the assistant U.S. attorney prosecuting the case with 14 years of white-collar criminal experience, told me it was one of the cleanest fraud cases she'd seen. Most families who steal from one another conceal it better, she added. Or sometimes the victim lacks the necessary abilities to fully document the incident. You basically built our entire case for us. I do this for a living, I explained. Just usually not against my own family. She smiled sadly. How does that feel? The investigator asks the same question. The solution is the same as justice. The trial was scheduled for August. Mom's lawyer attempted to arrange a plea agreement. I refused to sign any arrangement that excluded prison time. Grandpa supported me. Mom eventually pled guilty to reduced charges, including 1 count of wire fraud and 1 count of forgery, and was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison, 3 years of supervised release, and full restitution of $55 million plus interest and penalties. Sophia pled guilty to conspiracy and received a 12-month sentence, 2 years of supervised release, and an order to return the engagement ring. It was sold by Nathan Cole the week following Thanksgiving. She had to purchase it back at auction for $30,000, which she did not afford. She borrowed money from an aunt. The ring was then auctioned on the court's orders, with the earnings going toward reparation. Nathan Cole was never charged. Prosecutors couldn't show he knew the money had been taken, but everyone suspected he did. He relocated to Boston 6 months later. Dad petitioned for divorce in February. I cited irreconcilable disagreements and my spouse's illegal acts. The procedures were swift and unpleasant. He received the house. Mom received nothing. I haven't communicated with any of them since that Thanksgiving. I banned their phone numbers, emails, and accounts across all platforms. My father attempted to contact out twice through intermediaries, once through Grandpa, and once through my cousin Chloe. Both times, I declined. I didn't want to reconcile. I did not want apologies. I wanted them to learn that their actions had repercussions. That betrayal kills trust, and once shattered, it cannot be repaired. Grandpa and I now eat dinner once a month, generally via video call because Denver to Connecticut is a considerable distance. I occasionally travel out to sea. We do not talk about Mom or Sophia. We discuss his maps, his professional experiences, my job and my life. In March, he opened a new account and transferred another $550,000. This time, it arrived with a letter. Ethan, this is the gift I always intended to give you. Use it to buy a house, start a company, build something that matters. I know you'll do it right. Your mother asked me to do something wrong, and I was foolish enough to trust her. You showed me the truth even when it hurt. That's the mark of real integrity. Love, Grandpa. I purchased a home. 3-bedroom craftsman in a desirable Denver neighborhood, walking distance to a park. I now have a home office, a suitable workstation for my investigations. I occasionally consider establishing my own business, but Sentinel Tech treats me well, and I enjoy my work. The 2nd bedroom is for Grandpa to use when he visits. The 3rd is vacant. Perhaps one day it will not be. Last week, I received a handwritten letter from Sophia, 8 pages long, in a simple envelope with no address. It started, Ethan, I know you'll probably throw this away without reading it, but I have to try. What I did was unforgivable. I was selfish and desperate, and I didn't think about what I was stealing from you beyond just money. I read it all and then shredded it, seeing her words disintegrate into confetti. Some individuals believe that forgiving is honorable. Perhaps it is, but I am not interested in being noble. I am interested in becoming entire. And for me, completeness was removing the folks who attempted to chop me apart and sell the bits. They took my cash. They attempted to take Grandpa's present. They almost succeeded, but I left with something they couldn't take.